Donny Walker here. I did a video out there with my dad. Sorry, he cursed a couple times. He just can't help it. He doesn't understand that when I'm videotaping, and half of it didn't even know when I was doing it. Anyways, it was a great day going out there and helping him out a little bit and gathering up a few more parts off him. I was lucky enough to come across a pretty cool few items that he's going to help me out with my hot saw of mine I'm building, the 101. I've showed you that before. I showed you on that last video. I scored this beautiful bar off him. So that's going to be my bar, and I'm going to lighten it up. I get it water jet cutted, then fill it in with some epoxy or aluminum insert. I also scored another 101 kart engine, but it had a little issue. The crankshaft on the PTO side is broken out where the keyway is, but the bore itself is perfect. Nothing wrong with it. All the screw holes look good. It's been slightly ported a tad, but I'll be doing some more to it. Match it up with one of our other racing ones. I do have another one here that I have that actually blew a rod through it. You can see how it just went right through it. That was the worst thing with McCulloch, is blowing rods when you rev them too high. The crankshaft in this one's good though. There's the broken rod, but there's nothing wrong with the crank lobe. PTO end's good, and ignition side end's good. So I'll use this crank in that other block. The piston got damaged just slightly. Not that bad though. Look at this thing's hardly been used. Hardly any carbon on it. It's got a little notch in the top of the piston here, but I think I can fix that. If not, I'll see if Dad's got a standard 101 piston still out there in his pile of stuff, which I think he does. He's got a lot of stuff hidden away in some spots there that I'm slowly digging into. Yeah, so I'm gonna build another 101 kart saw, either into a racing one or a regular one for cutting wood, falling and bucking wood. I'm gonna build it for a special friend of mine. I'll let you know about that later. I'm also gathered up a few 3120 pieces off him. I've got this old cylinder here, which he had modified, and he had put a McCulloch intake adapter on here to run a reed valve system, kart 101 reeds in it. You can see how he's ported it pretty nice. Got the transfers trenched over to the intake and a boost port system in it. Nice radius exhaust port to it, split head. So now I gotta make a head for it. I think he might have an old one there still that I have to find. We'll see how it goes. I also got another 3120 cylinder here. I think I showed you guys. Some guy spent a lot of time on this with JB Weld and really making it wild. Look at the porting in this thing. Unbelievable. He built all this up with JB Weld to make those ports in there. Pretty amazing, but he looks to me like he was trying to do it as a piston port, and to me I think this thing would be better with reeds too. So I'm really gonna do it. Just gonna take me time. I don't have a lot of time because I'm trying to build saws for all you guys out there. I'm gonna use a reed block system off a IAMI Perella engine with carbon fiber reeds, and build an adapter and either try to adapt the HL big carburetor off of the Perella reed jet and Perella kart engines on it, or I'm gonna put one of these beautiful IBEA smoothbore carburetors on it. Look at that thing. There's not a screw in that butterfly or nothing. Beautiful handmade carburetor. These were made in Switzerland. Very expensive carburetor for karts, but very good. I have another one here called an HHC, made in Germany. Also beautiful. There's not even a screw or anything in that shaft. You gotta replace the whole thing if you need to change the butterfly. Yeah. So either way, I'm gonna adapt one of those carbs to it. To the 3120 and the new 101 kart engine build that I'm going to do. If you notice, those 3120 cylinders are very similar to what my dad kind of based them on out of, like, this is an old KX100 cylinder that I've had laying around from the motocross days when I was doing a lot of motocross engines. Until they switched to 4-strokes, and I got out of it because I hate the sound of them. I don't like tractors. I like buzzing bees 2-strokes. This is a CR81. You can see, same sort of configuration. These both are good cylinders. I should flog them off to someone, but I just keep them around to look at. So that's what I got on the go. I'm going to work here a little bit more tomorrow. It is my days off, but I just wanted to go help my dad for a bit and whatnot. And I showed you yesterday of Blake from Saskatchewan. I got that 1010 done for you, buddy. I'll get that out to you. And it was kind of nice of my dad to do that. I left it there because I was going to do it with him. Then I showed up there one day a while ago. He goes, "What was with that 1010 you left here? I got it running, man. It works really good. It's got a good piston in it and everything." I went, "Oh, gee, thanks, buddy." Yeah, he's retired. He's got time, and so he did it for us, man. You don't like it, bud. I'm going to tune that carb a little bit better for you. Empty the gas and stuff out and ship it back to you. Also, I have a new 550 I'm doing for you, Mark II. And there's something else I wanted to talk to everyone out there about. We talked about bearing problems with those saws. Now, some of you commented, "Oh my God, I don't want one of those now," or anything. And we talked about nylite cage bearings. I just happen to have one in my pocket here, I think. There's nothing wrong with nylite cage bearings. They're pretty much the best. Husky just, for some reason, has to manufacture their bearings that they're having a problem with the cages. No one else is having the problems. And I told you before, I have racing engines that have, 40, 50 horsepower with nylite cage bearings. Never have problems with them. So, don't think that Stihl one's going to be any better, because when Stihl ones break, like I've told you before, they go up through the transfers and they wreck your motor. At least these ones still save the top end, but it isn't right. And then hopefully they're going to address it. I said the other day that I got some Husky guys coming in a couple days, and we'll be talking about it lots. The way that bearing is on those saws, you look how the seal's built into it, the inner race and the outer race, okay? So that bearing that cage starts to break and move, while the inner race here, it just pops that seal out or damages that seal, so now it air leaks. But the saw will compensate for it with the computer, but it still ain't right. They'll get it figured out. They always do down the road. Here's one of the bearings that is bad. You can see the balls don't fall out unless you really run it for a long time. Then maybe eventually they'll work themselves out. But kind of a bummer. They'll get it figured out after we send in more for warranty, and I got another fella sending me a whole bunch to show these fellas. But don't knock the saws. Those saws rip. I just did those 2 for my friend Hud, and he phoned me yesterday. He goes, "Oh my God, Donny, those things are just amazing. I just love them. Just the power of them and weight ratio is wicked." And no, I'm not going to build more full wrap handlebars or bigger dogs. If I do, I'm going to get some proper ones, water jet cut the dogs to the center of the ones that I sort of like the ones I made. I actually welded a couple together for him and matched them up just to get him some like that. We'll see down the road. I don't have a lot of time to deal with that, but we'll see how it goes. So one other thing I wanted to talk about, someone commented to me about there's still 261 using a lot of fuel. So here I have a Stihl MS261C, and I'm not going to be doing this video, showing you how to change it, but I'm going to just show you how it does work. When they run right, they run good too. These are like the competitor for the 550 Mark II. And you know what? Echo's got that 501 model too. That thing's great too when you zip it up. I don't do a lot of them, and I haven't. I think I've done one maybe, but those things rip too. So on the saw, you take your top cover off, your air filter. Here's your wiring. The wiring comes up to the carburetor. So on the carburetor is this little white piece right here. That's your solenoid. So the solenoid is basically the adjustment for the carb. It controls the fuel. So if the thing's not idling and it's using a lot of fuel and running rich, it's probably your solenoid. So Stihl actually has a nice little kit. It's only $19.45. It comes with a new solenoid and a fuel filter. And that's another thing. With all these new electronic saws, you got to change your fuel filters more. 30 days if you're running commercially or using it a lot. So I'm going to go down on, I'm going to show you guys tomorrow early when I come up, before I start working on my shop here, how to change it. It's not that hard. But another thing you can be watching for on your saws, if you know how to tune a bit, or know about tuning of a two-stroke, is watch your plug color. You know, your plug color should be a nice tan brown. If it's black, then you know that solenoid is giving you too much fuel. So that's why it's using a lot of fuel and flooding it out a bit. And sometimes at idle, it die out on you. Try doing the factory reset by warming it up, then running it full throttle for 30 seconds, see if it'll change and actually make that thing work again if the control unit allows it. Or, like I say, not even 20 bucks, you can buy a new one and a fuel filter, just throw it in anyways. I've had some brand new Stihls, not many, just a couple, that didn't run right from the factory because the solenoid didn't work. They've changed the solenoid a few times, different colors. This white one seems to be the more popular one to be using now, instead of the black, I think it was. Yeah, so that's the gist on that. And I'll show you that. This one's been modified with a couple of small pipes I'm doing for a forestry company up island. I've done about 8 of them for them now. They're nice too. 20-inch bar on them. They rip, man. So they're like the 550 Mark II competitor. But like I said again, don't badmouth those Huskies. I know some people are frustrated, and with the 562 as well, but they'll get it figured out. They always do. They're not stupid, but I still don't like the design of the seal. I really wish they would have the seal in the crankcase, because then it just runs on the crankshaft. So, you know, if you've got a loose tolerance type bearing, a C3 or C4, you know, that moves around too. So that moves around and it starts to wear the seal more, you know? Like even that, like I can move that around, right? So that play is gonna damage the seal more. I don't think it's a good design. I don't know what they were thinking there, but I'm not an engineer, but I've seen a lot of problems with stuff and try to solve the problems, or have solved the problems. So yeah, it's Saturday. My gal's away. I'm gonna go home and have some lunch now, then come back and do a little bit of work, making some shelving in here to start putting up all my cluttered motors and pieces laying around. So keep your saw on the wood, stick in the ice, rubber on the road. Have a great weekend. Flowers are starting to grow outside. Spring is upon us. We have our time change tonight, so that's awesome. We get an extra hour now coming up. I can't wait. It's going to be lighter in the morning and, well, maybe darker in the morning for a bit. Yeah, then lighter at night, an hour. So that's awesome. So yeah, be good out there. Be safe. Check out the walkersawshop.com online store. Have a great weekend. Bye.